So this update in scene had people talking. An update that had caught my attention due to a certain character, but another character in here was mostly the talk of the town. This is Tyrantel. He is a character that got a lot of people going crazy for, so we can expect him to be OP. Maybe broken even, which I hope it isn't the case. We got too many of those characters already. This man is Empire, Mythical, and Reaper faction, who can be infantry or flyer. He has damage reduction and can select an enemy to apply Domination Seal. It makes them attack last in battle and ignores immunity and cannot be dispelled with 3 turns. That has a 2-turn cooldown. Is that like in general, or is it just only him? So enemies with Domination Seal within 3 blocks of him have their attack and defense reduced. Upon that, Imperial Will manifests the battle spirit of the Emperor, and Imperial Will can choose to unleash Echo of Will on one ally, causing them to inherit all of Tyrantel's ability and act again immediately. That triggers 1 time per battle. That's crazy, my goodness. I'm guessing they just attack in general, like any unit can attack them and they always attack last no matter who attacks them. That's dumb, as in, that's dummy good. The Will of the Empire, which I'm guessing is Echo of Fighting Will. So you inherit 100% of their attribute and is considered a summon. It has a range of 7, but the target must be a player unit and it doesn't matter if they already acted or not. And all the stuff carry over, even equipment effects. So what about soldiers? Do they count as well? Because imagine, let's say that he tries to copy like Bernhardt's stats, who has high HP and high defense. I might not understand this guy fully yet, but this guy already looks nuts already. And we haven't seen the rest of his skill sets. His passive increases his normal attack, and when attacked, if his own attack is higher than the enemy, then their attack in int is reduced. His other skill has a passive that lets him guard nearby allies. When using it, it adds 50% of his attack to his defense and magic defense, can counterattack 2 blocks that cannot be dispelled, that also lets him guard 2 blocks, and reduces the damage taken for 2 turns. So he just simply gets more tankier. Another one he has, the passive does damage equal to the damage reduction of his talent. It's a single target that reduces the damage taken and restores 30% of damage after battle. So yeah, with this, he's able to do a good amount of damage. Pretty safe using this as well. Lets him be a little bit more tankier while also healing him. His 3C, also with the passive that lets him guard nearby allies and is immune to displacement and fixed damage. This adds 50% of his attack to his defense and magic defense that can counterattack 2 blocks that can't be dispelled, and guard range increases to 2 blocks, with his offensive and defensive abilities being increased for 4 turns. Whoa, so he just buffs himself up? Okay. After using it, the skill gets replaced with Vanity Destruction for 3 turns. If the caster is affected by Echo of Battle, his buff duration doesn't go down and can act again moving 3 blocks. His secondary 3C has the same passives, but it looks like it's a single target that dispels 5 buffs before battle and increases damage dealt to enemies with Domination Seal by 20% when the number of allies is less than or equal to 2. It also will remove the talent trigger cooldown when killing the enemy. Okay, alright, so I was expecting something even more crazier with this, but let's backtrack. An offensive tank who only buffs himself up because you kill him, and he's still gonna be a very dangerous threat doing all that he does, like how it is with Awakener. That Domination Seal is very dumb as well. It's one thing if applied to only Tyrantel, but that making you attack last against everyone in general is stupid. It bypasses immunities too, which makes it even more insane. So you're never safe being a single target attacker. Not only is he going to be very tanky, but thanks to his unique 2C, he is capable of hitting very hard, which is based on his damage reduction from his talent, which caps out at 25%. Also quite safe to use as well since it has healing and more damage reduction. So yeah, this man is going to be very tanky, a very hard hitter, self-sufficient too due to buffing himself up and having a heal skill. Talent is very strong too that makes a certain enemy not safe to attack and is able to come back alive. So he dies tanking for his teammates, comes back to life, and tanks for them again. Now that's dedication right there. The only issue is his mobility, which as a tank, it isn't much of an issue, but him being an offensive tank is different. He's only a single target attacker and no faction buff too, as you would see with most tanks. So the character that actually caught my attention in this update is Tabres. Her design just looks really cool, and that's really all I care about whenever I go for characters. So with that in mind, I'm hoping her gameplay is cool as well. She's part of the Meteor Strategy Princess faction that can be infantry and flyer. Her talent increases her attack and defense. After dealing damage, she applies stacks of Dark Feather to the enemy for 3 turns that stacks 3 times, which refreshes its turn duration each time it is applied. If they have 1 stack of Dark Feather, increases damage taken when fighting her. At 2 stacks, Tabres' skill can be selected at the target anywhere, and then she teleports to an empty square to use that skill on the target. At 3 stacks, they cannot counterattack her. Yeah, definitely the second stack is the most dangerous. Obviously the third stack is very strong, but the second stack is also one of the most dangerous too, since she can basically attack you anywhere, which you get automatically if she gets to 5 stars. Ooh, if she gets AoEs, it'd be so much more easier for her to stack them. Unless she has to do them while actively attacking them, like single target attacking them, which will be lame if that's the case. If she doesn't have them, I'm gonna be really sad. But once he causes a single ally to gain, after dealing damage from an active attack, inflicts 1 stack of Gloomy? I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Dark Feather. So yeah, inflicts a stack of that on the enemy for 2 turns. After that, gains Blacklight Perch, where the unit's HP is 80% or more. It cannot be targeted by enemies' normal attack or skills for 2 turns. Oh yeah, so if they meet that HP threshold, they're basically safe. So yeah, pretty crazy skill. Her 2C is a single target that ignores guard if the number of allies is less than the number of enemies. If the target has 2 stacks, she attacks directly to the enemy hero. When the enemy is killed, her buffs isn't reduced, that only applies in PvP. Her 3C has a passive where if all allies dies, gains 2 stack of Dark Feather to the damage source. This is an AoE that attacks 3 blocks and restores 30% HP to all allies within radius, after which she gains Dawn of Heavy Light, where it does small AoE damage within 1 radius before entering battle that's undispellable for 2 turns. After using this, she gets to move 3 blocks and attack. Okay, yeah, so I was a little worried because it sounded a bit underwhelming until the at the again part came up. So she can deal AoE damage first to apply those Dark Feather stacks before fighting. Hormozy is also pretty interesting, but Tabres as a whole is such a letdown if I'm gonna be honest, because her 3C is the only AoE skill. I mean yeah, that 3rd stack from her talent will make her pretty OP, so maybe changing it to something like she attacks first instead would help balance that out. Even with the turn refresh, I don't think it would be that much of a big issue, because she can't constantly attack multiple enemies. She's mostly going to be targeting that one single enemy, which really isn't enough to show how strong she is. And that's mainly the problem in PvP. In regular content, you'll definitely see her work. Her relying on her 3C for those stacks is her best method. And even then, I feel like she'll be really tricky to use. Definitely her being at 5 stars is going to be a huge help, but it's mainly against that one specific enemy. She'll have to target multiple enemies to truly get those benefits, which will be insanely difficult. So yeah, I feel like they really butchered her, which makes me a little upset. She could have been so much more better by having more AoEs, like having 1 or 2 more. The next character on the list, which is someone that I was really prepared for, is SP Lanford. I recently got him to 6 stars for this moment, so I hoped I didn't waste that effort, and it turns out that he isn't great. Oh, he turns into a flyer. Already to a good start, I like it. His talent has the classic, ignore skill cost limit as with most SP characters, and has more damage increase. He has a command effect where ally stats are increased, mixed units allies do more damage, and active attacks when entering battle has you attack first. At the end of action, he can change to be a Lancer, which changes his movement by -2, and takes less damage that's undispellable and immunized, which cancels when the skill is casted again. So yeah, his command effect got even better, which can be very strong in regular content to let his teammates be pretty safe attacking and even doing more damage. That class change is very situational, which I don't think is all that bad, if you choose for him to be more tanky. The new soldier he gets is the Rainbow Pegasus, who are very good. One of his new skills has a passive that lets him guard nearby allies and is immune to displacement effects and unable to use action skills. It increases the range of his command effects, reduces damage taken, and adds 50% of his attack to his defense match defense for 4 turns. Honestly, I think his command effect can actually reach 4 blocks if you add his exclusive to the equation. But yeah, with this, he can tank very well, except that you literally have to be within 1 block of him. So positioning is going to be very tricky. His other new one is a passive that increases crit and crit damage. If there are allies within 3 blocks of the mixed unit, then he can ignore guard. After a crit, he gains damage taken reduced by 30% for 1 turn. Okay, yeah, so one thing that I'm already seeing, which is pretty funny if you think about it, is how much defensive buffs they gave him. but can hardly fulfill the tank role. Granted, I think he'll do amazing at it. It's just that you have to be literally within one block of him for that to work, and that is really tough in terms of positioning. So the best thing for him is to straight up be a full-on attacker, and as a flyer, they're the best at doing that. You still might want to carry that anyway, since you'll be able to survive a lot of stuff, all the while being a pseudo tank. With this upgrade, I don't think it's all that bad. I just think it's pretty decent. Using SP Lanford will encourage you a lot more to play really close to him, since he now has more benefits with his command effect. If he actually had a guard skill, then in my opinion, he would go from a decent upgrade to a good upgrade. However, in regular content, I think he'll shine there a lot more, since you'll always be playing around your teammates, which means more damage coming from him, and you'll always be striking first all the time. So it'll be a great upgrade in that area. With the exclusives, a helmet for Captain Mack. Hold up, okay. The cap from the best event of all time? So he gets to ignore his skill cost limit. Allies within the command range of route marker steals 1 buff from the enemy after dealing damage and apply 1 random buff to him at the end of turn. Looks like this is the only exclusive in this update. I'm willing to bet that the skill cost ignore will be really good for him. I haven't seen Captain Mack in a very long time. Buff stealing is really great, especially with the AoE team where they can hit multiple enemies at the same time. For the casting skills, first up is Dieharte. If there are 2 or more female allies, the cooldown of the skill is reduced by 3 after killing an enemy with the skill. Yeah, that was Dieharte's biggest problem in PvP. He's not really consistent at what he does. He's more of a one and done type of character, so this should help him a bit if he can kill. Also gotta remember that he needs female allies too, which can make pick and pans really important if you want to use them. Second is Krueger. It increases the damage of his 3C, I think it is, by 10%. And his 3C, I'm also pretty sure, can select another target. So what I'm getting at is that he's just more annoying. Got it. Third is Kertesz. Soul Steal lasts 1 turn longer. For every enemy with Soul Mark, his range increases by 1 to a max of 2. Oh, that is really huge. More range makes a really huge difference. Fourth is Melania. Healing effect from Honor Blessings increases by 10%. Merit gains an additional effect at the 3rd stack that, when guarding, attacks before the enemy. Pretty nice, pretty nice. The only banner of interest is the Raider for Patricia, who is only really great in PvP. There's also Andrew, really amazing in PvP, and is able to work really well in regular content. As for the content that Sion got, all Anarchy stage unlock, a new Portal Leap chapter, Prepared Battleground, and Dimensional Expedition. With all the new skins that Sion got, and that go live for both Tyrantel and Tabres, look at the halo above Tyrantel. He's far from being an angel. Like, have you guys seen his kit? He's far from that. More of an annoying menace than anything else. At least the whole white thing on him looks really good. I think he pulls that off really well. Tabres looks really amazing as well. Makes me really wish that Angelina had a wedding skin. But you know, I'll wait long games. I'll wait for them to cook. Season 18 had begun around this time in CN, so the champion skin for Season 17 for Obero, with Roga Season 18 gold skin, and in silver, the soldier skin for the Fang Guards. They really are giving our characters top tier looking skins. You gotta love it. In the store, a Whiteham skin, one where he doesn't turn into a cat, and a knight. Just him and his visual looks alone, which I'm quite glad they did that. Then we got Nib's Martial Lotto skin. A real eye catcher if I say so myself. There you guys have it. That was about everything, if not most of everything that CN got in this update. Tyrantel might be the most busted tank that we have ever seen. I'm still really bummed out about Tabres. She looks really cool, but her gameplay requires her to put in a lot of efforts. And DE. I'm not looking forward to that when it comes to global. But that's all I got. If you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and feel free to let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about this update that CN got. I know for sure a lot of people are gonna go for Tyrantel. Can't stop thinking about how underwhelming Tabres is. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Your fellow Z.